nationwide manhunt for a Florida murder suspect ends here in Middle Tennessee. Police found Cassie Carli's body at a barn in Alabama the very same day her ex-boyfriend, there on the left, Marcus Spanevelo, was picked up in Maury County. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker tonight shows us why he won't be headed back to Florida right away.
37-year-old Cassie Carli was attempting a custody exchange with her ex in Florida just last week. But after this, loved ones reported her missing, and her body was found several days later.
This little girl named Saylor will now have to grow up without her mother by her side.
It's unreal. It's unreal to think about, in this community.
A community still in shock after investigators found Cassie Carli's body in an Alabama barn over the weekend. This just 1 week after she disappeared. And police say her ex-boyfriend Marcus Spanevelo has ties to that property, with neighbors telling reporters that they saw a man walking out of the barn on Thursday. This just 2 days before the discovery on Saturday night.
Everybody around here knows just about everybody. It's just one of those family communities.
And after a week-long manhunt, Tennessee troopers arrest Carli's ex-boyfriend. This is 34-year-old Marcus Spanevelo. He was arrested on Friday.
The defendant was stopped for a traffic violation.
And in his first court appearance in Columbia, Spanevelo did not waive extradition. He says that he needs to figure some things out before heading back to Florida.
I'm just trying to make sure that my daughter is taken care of with the people that that I'm leaving her with.
Spanevelo now faces several charges in connection to Carli's death. This includes tampering with evidence, giving false information concerning a missing persons investigation, and the destruction of evidence.
Metro DA's office is asking the courts to release a man convicted of murder 30 years ago. Claude Garrett was sent to prison for killing his girlfriend, Lori Lance, in an arson fire. Fox 17 News is the first media outlet to question that conviction. And tonight, our Dennis Ferrier has an important update.
This was never a case where opinion was divided on whether this was arson or not. You have the original investigation, which called it arson, and now you have everyone else. 14 of the leading fire scientists in the world saying it's not arson.
This is a post-conviction hearing based on new scientific evidence.
It's the strangest sight you will ever see. The Innocence Project defense team and the prosecution both arguing to let a man out of prison. But that's exactly what happened in Nashville today, where some of the nation's leading fire scientists testified there is absolutely no proof that the fire that killed Garrett's live-in girlfriend, Lori Lance, was arson.
There is new scientific evidence, unheard by a jury, that dismantles all evidence of Mr. Garrett's guilt in this case. That if the state had been armed with the information that we now have, both about the investigation and the scientific developments, we would not have indicted this case.
Family members of Miss Lance say they want the conviction to stand. They believe the jury made the right decision and suggest this effort to overturn the case is political.
So I feel that there's been a lot of bias in favor of Mr. Garrett from our district attorney.
But 14 of the top fire scientists in the world say the determination of arson was based on junk science, poor investigation, and inaccuracies.
All of these things have since been debunked, and it really takes fire investigators through. They have got to keep up their education and training.
Video volunteers locally who appear to be giving the homeless free drug needles in West Nashville, but residents, while outraged, are tethered by the nonprofit who says this is all just a misunderstanding. Fox 17 News' Maggie Lemire live tonight on the West Side, where businesses say drug abuse is rampant. This they know.
Scott, the nonprofit Streetwork says it is completely dedicated to preventing the spread of HIV. Now, they have a service where people can exchange used needles for clean needles, but they say this did not happen at Brookmeade. This video here, posted by the group Reclaim Brookmeade Park, shows Streetwork's recent visit. Some with the group say needle exchanges so close to the park enables the most vulnerable. In an interview with the Streetworks prevention coordinator, we asked why needles were given to the homeless at Brookmeade and to the homeless in general.
We give them to anyone who, uses or needs them, no matter if they're homeless or if they have a home.
adding they can't control if people decide to do drugs, but this helps them to be as safe as possible. On Tuesday, Sharon Hurt, executive director of Streetworks, said the accusations about them handing out needles at Brookmeade are false. In a statement explaining that it was a misunderstanding, and while that group does that type of outreach, no needles were distributed at Brookmeade. For business owners, drug use around the camp is something they see every day. Just ask Charles Bird. He owns the car wash yards from the camp.
Every day we find drugs, drug paraphernalia, people using drugs, people that are on drugs.
He's owned his business since '03 and says it's only gotten worse.
That's what this whole thing is about. It's maybe 10% insane people that need help to be somewhere, and the rest of it is drug addicts that live back there in tents.
He, like many others, hope the situation at Brookmeade gets better.